So being safe is comfortable, and that's the status quo. How do you get someone to move out of pain or out of the status quo, out of being safe? How do you get them to move into a leadership position? Because generally speaking, part of implementation is you need somebody that's convinced we got to take a new way. We've got to make a tough decision, and we've got to just get to this point B in the future that might not be well defined. How do you get someone to do that?
I'd love to hear Bill's thoughts, but kind of a couple of comments and thoughts on that is so we as humans, we love to, like, essentially, we'd rather not lose than win, if that makes sense, in terms of our risk in this world, right? The status quo is fine. It's okay. I don't want to make a bad decision. Honestly, if you look at it, there's kind of this loss aversion bias that we all have, where it's a lot easier for me to have stayed with the status quo. And we've all said this, a 2020 hindsight, should have done that, should have invested in this stock, should have done crypto before a bubble pop, right? Should have made this change, invest in the software, done whatever it is. 2020 hindsight, darn, missed out, shucks. That's a lot easier for us to swallow just as humans in the psychology than it is like, I made a bet. And that bet went sideways, right? It's this kind of a fear of commission, right? I made an action that made the company, made my team miss out. And so as you kind of start to lean into that, you say, how do I address that, right? How do I actually make that person feel like they're not gonna mess up? There was a great book recently that Matt Dixon, called The Jolt Effect, dove in and was looking at, I think it was definitely over 2 to 3 million like individual sales calls and opportunities and stuff, where they actually found that there was a bigger fear of messing up than there was of missing out. Kind of, he calls it FOMO versus FOMO as you go through that. And people cared a lot less about that 10% discount at the end of the quarter or things like that versus losing my job if I make a bad call. And so as brands, and maybe we've got to start to think about how do we address that fear that's sitting there, right? That missing out or messing up emotion as we go through that, because that's a very real emotion, right? We've probably all heard the phrase like, "Oh, I wouldn't be fired for picking IBM or Microsoft," right? It's just it's safe, right? Everybody's done it, but as startups, as small businesses, as even well-known brands, right? Depending on the level of the investment, like, we have to overcome that, right? We're not the sure thing. We're not the safe bet all the time. And so that's a big deal, right? When you think about overcoming that pain.
Hi, Ted Wolf here. I want to thank you for joining us for this Implementors video. The Implementors podcast is presented by Guidewise, where we, along with our vetted member community, recognize that ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. To learn more about getting things done with Guidewise, please visit us at guidewise.io. And to conquer your implementation struggles, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. Happy implementing.